I'm Charles Thorpe. Now I'm very excited to chat with our next guest. The awesome Val Chmerkovskiy is here, guys. Give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now we have a great audience here in New York City, but if you're at home and you want to join the conversation, just hit the button that says ask a question or tweet at BuildSeriesNYC. Now Val has an incredible story from becoming a world champion dancer to one of the most recognizable instructors in Dancing with the Stars. Now he's sharing that story in his new memoir titled, I'll Never Change My Name. Please help me welcome to the stage. He's right here. Val Chmerkovskiy, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the applause, for your time. This is awesome. Thank you for the rug. This is so official.
It's a great book cover, man. I mean, what made this the right time to start writing this book?
Well, I mean, the book has been kind of writing itself for 30 years, and there was a part of me that kind of thought I was tiptoeing on a, you know, a sense of like a great deal of vanity by writing a memoir at 30 years old. I thought it was a little excessive, but at the same time, it was an opportunity that came to kind of express my thoughts in writing and finally have context in which I can express myself beyond just talking about dance, even though I do talk about dance and how important it was for me in my life. I also get a chance to talk about a lot of other things that I find really important, and that was an opportunity I didn't want to pass by.
I mean, it's an incredible story, man. I mean, how was the process for you, though? Were you writing at night? When were you getting the pages down?
I started physically writing, you know, pen on paper, or at least finger on typewriter, or more like on a computer.
21st century and all?
Yeah, around June. And haven't stopped really till maybe like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So it's been a process, and it's kind of like an everyday, really disciplined process to write. But I've always been into literature and writing. I wrote poetry since I was 12. I say I love choreographing. Obviously I love choreographing steps, but I love choreographing words even more. So for me, literature is awesome. It's inspiring, and it's self-expression in a different way, and I loved it.
I mean, you have great stories from your youth and everything like that. Did you sort of workshop them with your friends and family? I mean, did it take some sort of, you know, how did you remember everything that happened to you when you were young? Was it difficult to go back?
I didn't workshop it with my friends and family. This was actually a lot of the stuff, that was a surprise for my family, but, you know, my dad read it for the first time maybe, you know, 3 weeks ago. My brother still hasn't read it, and he wrote the foreword.
You wrote the foreword, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet foreword.
Yeah. Well, I paid him a lot of money to say those things. No, it was awesome. It was honest, and that's the thing about this book, is that it's really honest, and there's no agendas really. I don't have any motivation for writing this book outside of making my parents proud, you know, making my peers proud, my community proud, everything I stand for, and all the people that you know, love to support me. I just want to make those people proud and hopefully help someone along the way.
How did Max feel when you first told him you were writing the book and that he was going to write the foreword?
He probably felt a lot of pressure. You know, words don't come, well, words do come easy for my brother, but not the right ones sometimes, you know. If I had to title his future memoir, it would be, I didn't mean it. But, you know, at the same time, his honesty is what makes him him, and why people love him, and those that disagree with him still appreciate his honesty, because it comes from, you know, a good place, and that's where this foreword came from. I was just, you know, I was kind of nervous for what he was going to say, but...
I was going to say, what did you feel like reading it for the first time, the foreword?
The thing about this book is there are a lot of things that I've already known. I've always known my brother loved me unconditionally. This was just more about sharing that type of love that you can have with siblings, you know, and these two, you know, pseudo studs, aesthetically slightly above average siblings.
You're very self-depreciating, man.
Right. But, you know, all jokes aside, these two guys, you know, can still love and support each other, and this kind of, you know, this sibling rivalry was tried to be embellished in Hollywood, but it just never happened, because we truly love and support each other. And again, that too is a testament to my parents, our parents, that, you know, instilled this fear and anxiety because of, they used to tell us, when we die, you're only gonna have each other, so you better love each other and support each other. And I'm like, I'm 8 years old. I don't want to be traumatized by my parents' death at such a young age. But that stuck with us, and we've always had each other's back.
You guys had an interesting relationship from the get-go because he was also your instructor getting into dance, right? I mean, tell me about first getting into dance with him.
My parents put my brother into dance. So I'm of Eastern European descent. I'm from Ukraine. In that culture, it's not taboo for boys to dance. It's celebrated. It's strong. It's masculine. It's cool. It's like all the things it wasn't in this country
until you guys came along. Exactly.
And so that, that cultural difference is what made this happen. It's ironic that like this little Eastern European community from Brooklyn, New York, is what championed ballroom dancing and put ballroom dancing on the world map. And the things I write in this book and why it was important for me to write it, why I was excited to write it, is because my life, believe it or not, started way before Dancing with the Stars. And some of my proudest moments came before Dancing with the Stars. And that's not a knock on the success that I feel and have because of the show. It's just more about there was life before the show that I'm really proud of. And one of those moments was becoming the first American to ever win a junior world title. At a time where I competed, ballroom dancing was like...
How old were you?
It's like the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah, how old were you around this time?
Between the ages of 10 and, when I was 19 when Dancing with the Stars came on TV. So that kind of put ballroom dancing on the map, and people, some people became nostalgic. The old generation became nostalgic because it was something that was cool when they were kids. And the new generation was like, oh, cool. Sparkly dresses, and they got into it as well. But overall, we've experienced this renaissance when it comes to dance, and all of a sudden, I'm a cool kid, but that happened overnight, and for years before that, I wasn't the cool kid at all, but I was a kid that was driven to kind of, give back and also pay my dues for being accepted into this country. And I guess, that's where the patriotism comes in. I'll never change my name comes within the context of, Chmerkovskiy will never sound less foreign, but it doesn't make me less American or less proud to be an American or less grateful, most importantly, that, within the conversation of immigration right now, I just wanted to tell a story that reflected, the fact that I've never felt entitled in my life, not one single day being in this country. I've only felt gratitude, and that gratitude really motivated me to succeed in the way I did.
I mean, how did it feel to get up on the podium after that World Championship win and to hear the U.S. national anthem?
It felt awesome. It felt so cool, and that's the whole thing, is that it actually happened a month after 9/11, and I grew up in New York. I went to high school at the time in Hoboken, seeing the World Tower, the World Trade Center collapse, and just the city, everything that the city went through. A month later to go, and we were the first to ever do it, and they had to scramble to find an American flag, which is, again...
You weren't expecting you guys to win?
No. It was in Italy, and the top two couples in the world at that time were Italian. It was like a perfect thing for them, and I really, I ruined their special moment, but it was such a special moment for me. And like I said, people that have known me from Dancing with the Stars would have never known that story, and they would have never understood where this pride comes from. I think that's another thing I talk about in the book, is pride. It has a bad rep. I think pride without ego is really important. Pride is why I think people won't steal, won't cheat. Pride is what keeps your accountability to your moral compass intact. And you need to be proud of that. So there's a lot of pride in this.
Well said. I mean, tell me a little bit, for people who maybe don't know you aside from the show, sort of what went into your decision to join the show and how that sort of affected your career.
I was 25, and I was the LeBron James of the competitive ballroom dance world, and I've reached, the pinnacle of my dreams. But at the same time, as I am, relatively broke, living out of a suitcase, bank full of pride and artistic fulfillment. There's a show in Hollywood where you get put up and it's beautiful and warm. And most importantly, you get a check that's pretty considerate, And the difference between a profession and a hobby, I realized, at 25 is a paycheck, to a degree. And so besides the financial opportunity, I also saw as an artist, even though some authenticity might be in question by moving out to Hollywood, there's also an incredible opportunity to share your talent with more people. And as an artist, you seize that opportunity. You try to hold on to your soul and not, compromise yourself and your integrity, which I hope I didn't along the way. But it was an awesome opportunity for me to, further my career and further myself as a person as well.
Absolutely. I mean, tell me what it was like to first sort of get in that room and instructing, celebrities and that sort of thing. That has to be a difficult beast to sort of get a...
Yeah, I was terrible. Like, that's another reason why I'm so grateful to Dancing with the Stars, because I was awful the first couple of seasons, and they kept bringing me back and giving me a chance to grow and get better. But like I said, I was coming into Dancing with the Stars. I'm 25. I'm first in the States. I'm top 3 in the world. I've taught since I was 15, so I've taught national champions at this point. The ego was flaring. I thought I was gonna kill it. Like
you were ready to throw down with
oh
some
my
of these
God,
guys.
I was like, my brother's washed up, he's old, Derek, Mark, these are all my peers as well. We came from the same world. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm about to like just tear it up. And I was literally second eliminated after Meta World Peace, Ron Artest. And I think he was eliminated before us just because basketball season was back on, So, it was a reality check, and it was a taste of humble pie, as they say. And like I said, I talk about it in this book. I attribute it to my parents, the way I was raised, but I'm really lucky that my ego was stroked enough in my past where I was able to like set it aside and look at Derek and look at Mark, look at Max, look at all the pros on the show and be like, maybe I should pay attention to how they do things, and maybe I should learn from them and still, keep my own flair and style on things, but, be flexible enough to adjust to the new setting.
Absolutely. I mean, and you won twice, so that's no small thing to say. And when you look back on it, are there any sort of special moments for you, special sort of pairings?
Most of my parents. I'm not gonna say all of my parents.
Right.
That would be way too PC. But most of my pairings, I'm friends with all of them. For 3 months they have my undivided, unconditional, attention and effort. And that's something that creates an awesome bond between people that lasts, when it's authentic, it lasts for a long time. And I've have amazing bonds with all my partners. Zendaya was a partner I had.
She was incredible, yeah.
Early on, and we didn't win, and that was a huge moment on my journey on Dancing with the Stars because I felt so bad. I felt like, I dropped the ball. I didn't give her the best choreography she deserved. I thought she was a winner, and she didn't win because of me. But she turned out great. She's doing her thing.
Greatest Showman. She's dancing in that.
She's doing all right. But seeing, like I said, win or lose, we've kept in touch. We've done a lot of things since then. We still are friends. And the greatest thing is just watching her blossom into the superstar that she is, and knowing that I had like a decimal point of something to do with that hopefully sparked some sort of, something in her that helped her on that rise. But yeah, the role of mentorship really means a lot to me, and that's what the show has brought to my table. I've never been as socially conscious or as mindful of my status as a role model before. I've never understood the superpower that I have now, which is the ability to help people and help people heal and find inspiration. Like I've found myself in philanthropical situations that, again, is I'm really proud of, but I know is a luxury to have as well. I encourage everyone to give back and do great things in this world, but I know that, you know, there are a lot of people that are in situations where they're trying to help themselves. So for me to be in a position where I can help others, I think I'm lucky.
No, absolutely. I mean, and obviously, I'm sure when you're a world champion dancer, you'd have fans come up after and congratulate you. But now, once you're on the show, it's a different level of sort of fame where people are probably coming up to you quite a bit. I mean, what was the craziest experience you had to deal with for that?
I mean, there's been a lot of crazy experiences. You know, I'm about to go on my 6th tour, 50-city
your brother,
nationwide tour,
absolutely.
yeah, with Confidential. And the tour is really where it's at. Like, I love the show. I love the TV show. But being on the road, being on tour, traveling this country, also meeting people, I love to travel. Being able to perform and have direct, you know, kind of communication with my audience directly and in the moment, it's just a different feeling than creating something for television. So that's where most of the crazy things happen. After the show, before the show, you know, the meet and greets, a lot of crazy things. But the truth is, our fan base is awesome and conscious and mindful and really diverse. You know, that's the other thing about the show is it has no political agendas. It's really kind of it's for everyone. It's really inclusive. That's why dance has been doing so well, because dance is inclusive. It doesn't matter what color or race or what you are, what you prefer, what you stand for. Like, dance is kind of, it includes everybody. Everyone's welcome.
What's it like to create a show like this with your brother? What's the working relationship like?
It's passionate. You know, again, he's emotionally irresponsible a lot of times. So, you know, and I'm fairly reserved at times as well, but passions flare, and we want to do a great job for our fans and put on the greatest show ever. And in the process, you know, we're going to bump heads, but again, the friction will create diamonds, obviously, and it'll create magic on stage, and it creates camaraderie amongst the cast as well. We're, you know, the first thing I say, there's no backup dancers here. We're all peers, and you know, it's just a matter of time before you are telling your story with a group of other dancers. So, you know, it's a great time on stage, and our fans feel that, our audience feels that, and it's an awesome opportunity, again, to use dance beyond just entertainment. To entertain, yes, first and foremost, but also tell a story that can help people and inspire people.
Do you have anything special planned for this tour that people can look out for, looking forward to? Any sort of secret reveals?
I mean, our cast is awesome. We have actually Kiki Nemchek and Coco from So You Think You Could Dance finalists, if you watch that show.
It's amazing.
We have a cast of guys that, you know, kids I taught since they were 8 years old, you know, so you feel that family gravity on stage. So we have an awesome cast, which really drives it, but we also have awesome choreographers that helped us put this show together. And again, it's not about Max and Val. It's really about the community that we create around each other, and how much awesomeness that love spreads, you know. And
Awesomeness, that's a good word. I like that.
that's my word recently.
And you both, both you and your brother's partners are also dancers. I mean, is there anything planned, maybe a whole group tour or anything like that coming down the pipeline?
Eventually, that'd be great. You know, the Dancing with the Stars tour is out now, and you know, Jenna Johnson's a part of that, so it's awesome. Eventually, obviously, we'll collaborate on things, but you know, for now, I'm excited for the tour. I'm excited for people to read this book. It's really unusual for me to be on a book tour, so this is awesome. But this is my life, you know. I love conversation beyond dance steps, and this, most importantly, has given me that opportunity.
You find yourself making note of things, oh, this is for the next book, or this is for the next book? Are you sort of already making notes?
I mean, I'd love to, like, my next book to be, you know, a book of poetry. A little.
You're a poet.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote poetry as a kid. I wrote a poem in 7th grade about the Holocaust that got published in like a little makeshift, you know, young poets book. But that's how I charmed all the girls, really. Like, that was my game.
Through the poetry and the violin playing, right?
It's funny, you know, it's so crazy that we are at AOL Build right now because, you know, back in the instant messenger days, you know, that was where the game was really perfected.
Or some of your, do you have a couple of AIM like pickup
Oh my
lines or
God,
something
yeah.
like that? What would you say?
No, it's not my pickup lines. I became Shakespeare. I mean, I was in love with this girl that was 16. I was 14, but she was like 16, hanging with like 18-year-olds that smoked cigarettes and drove Acuras. And I was 14 with braces. And I was like, you know, I got her attention. And then on Instant Messenger, again, I was like, you know, writing her little poems. And again, at the end of the day, I won her over. And, you know, I realized that ambition is super sexy at any age, you know, and you know, like it was an awesome experience. And, it was, you know, I have to thank AOL for planting those seeds of writing.
What was the screen name? What was the screen name back in the day? Do you remember?
I'm going to say no, because there's no way I'm going to tell you what it is. But yeah, it was an awesome time. I mean, I don't. This generation won't ever know the complexities of like signing on a not even a DSL modem.
The dial-up back in the day.
Dial-up,
yeah.
And then your mom picks up the phone, and I'm like, I was I almost had it, you know. So now I got to start over.
Well, we have some questions in the audience, so we're going to get to those, I guess, right here.
Hi.
Hi.
So you've recently got a puppy. Have you thought about making an Instagram account for your puppy?
I did.
You did?
I thought about it.
Oh.
For a brief second, and
Would
then
you?
I stopped thinking about it. No, I thought
Pretty
about
good
it.
the social media, though.
Yeah,
so cute.
social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. You know, and that's the other thing about the millennial conversation. I'm like on the cusp of almost making it, so I'm technically a millennial too.
You remember dial-up, though.
Yeah, I remember the beepers too, you know, and payphones and change, you know, like now change is, what do you use change for anymore, right? Besides collecting it or tipping people, but was that super bougie to say? Oh my God,
Arcades, I don't know, you
take
could say
that back.
anything.
I mean,
No,
you
not
could
at all.
have, I'm not talking about the numerical value of change, you know, but you use your credit card
We're
for all
digital
of that.
now, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. You Venmo 50 cents to each other now. But I don't know. I think social media is awesome. I even with this book, I always question, like, am I oversharing? You know, like, who really cares?
And you post it on social media and you see who cares.
Yeah, and
who's
then
being
I see
inspired.
who cares. Yeah, and so it's great. You know, like I said, it's nice to be reminded that there are people out there that care, and it validates your work, which sounds awful to some people maybe, but I'll be honest. You know, we all would love a little validation, and it gives you that.
Absolutely, great. Next question.
So sorry. So the point is, my dog does not need validation.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Hi, Val. I love
Hi.
your book, by the way. It's amazing.
Thank you.
If anyone could play you in a movie, who would it be?
A young Robert De Niro. That's really ambitious. I think.
Raging Bull.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm a huge fan of just him and the genre of movies that he makes. So yeah, young Robert De Niro.
There we go. There we go. Let's go back in time for that. Okay, one last question.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
My question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my God.
Read the book. It's all there.
I know. Oh my God. There's so many times I would. It's the phrase, like, it's a terrible phrase. I would slap the out of him sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't give him any advice. You know, you got to earn your advice and learn your advice on your own, so to speak. You know, so I've had enough help growing up from a lot of awesome people, and you know that was enough. You know, you got to find certain things out for yourself.
Well, it's a great journey, man, and you share it all in this book. I'll Never Change My Name. Guys, order it right now.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for being here, Val.
Thank you so
Another
much
round
for
of
your
applause.
time. This is so cool.